Are you concerned? Should we be concerned? Should investors be concerned about inflation in the US? And how difficult is the job going to be for the new Fed chairman?
I think it's so funny, you know, when I hear your question, should we be concerned about inflation? I'd ask you what? Because it's too low or because it's too high? Okay, you know, isn't that a funny question? Because there's a lot of concern that it was too low. Should we be concerned that it's too high? I don't think we should be concerned that it's too high. We're still struggling to get it to 2%. If you get 2.5% inflation, is that a problem? I don't think we're going to hit 2.5% inflation for a core inflation rate. But is that a problem? In Europe, is it a problem that there's too much inflation or too little inflation? I don't know. You never get it perfect, but it's pretty good, you know? So no, I'm not particularly concerned. What I am concerned about is as we go into the later parts of these cycles, the challenge of central banks will be to get it perfectly, right? Because
where are we in the cycle now?
We're in the late, in the United States, we're in the later part of the cycle. In both of the world, we're in the Goldilocks part of the cycle, when it's not too hot and it's not too cold, right? When we have growth and we don't have an inflation problem, that's the beautiful part of the cycle, okay? As we're moving from that beautiful part of the cycle to a little bit later in the cycle as we're moving, then there's that part in which the brakes start to get put on at different paces. In the United States, we're a little bit farther ahead. So we're going to have faster rate of interest rate increases and letting the balance sheets go off. In Europe, we're a little bit behind that. And so as a result, you'll have a winding down of quantitative easing and not as much movement on the interest rates. So that's where we are in Europe. That's where we are in the United States. And so the issues I don't think are particularly pressing now. I do think that if we were to roll the camera forward to 2 years from now and that we're having a lot more, let's say, stimulation, particularly in the United States, we're having a lot more stimulation because of the tax bill and also because liquidity is relatively so we're going to be in a part where the central banks will have a problem getting it right. I think a year or two from now.
And the Fed has signaled, obviously, 3 rate hikes this year. Goldman is saying 4. Where would you say the right number is?
Oh, I couldn't tell you what the right number is. It depends how things transpire. I know it becomes delicate, and the important thing is, well, nothing is precise. And as we start to pick up, we'll figure out whether that is 3 or 2 or 4, and get that right. I do know that it has to be careful that it's not much faster than is discounted in the curve. And right now, as you say, it's between 3 and 4, which is discounted in the curve. And if they stick to that kind of pace, I don't think it'll be particularly problematic.